Hello students, welcome to this video tutorial on types of data. So make sure you printed your name in class at the top here. Alright, so let's start with an introduction. Two questions to kind of get you thinking about data, okay? Number one, what is your definition of the word primary? So I want you to think about how we use the word primary, things like primary school, or perhaps in art class, we talk about primary colors. So I want you to press pause on your video, and then I just want you to write a quick definition of what you think the word primary is in your own words. It doesn't have to be in a full sentence, so press pause now. Okay, so let's look at introduction question number 2. What is your definition of the word secondary? So again, we hear it all the time. Secondary school. In art class, we talk about secondary colors. So I want you to write a brief definition of what you think the word secondary means and press pause. Okay, so let's get into the actual part of the note. So this is going to be a little bit unusual is that most of the time when I'm teaching a lesson and we're taking a note, I'm doing a lot of writing with you. But in this case, I want you to just use your listening skills. And of course, you have to press the pause button. You can rewind and review. You can play it over if you didn't get it. Just go at your own pace. Okay? So let's go to the second section here, primary data versus secondary data. Primary data definition. Okay? So when no information or data exists on a topic, then new or primary data needs to be collected. All right, so if you need to pause, if you need to rewind, please do so now. Let's go to the next section, letter B, how to collect primary data. Okay, well, primary data comes from conducting interviews or questionnaires or surveys, experiments, and observations. Now remember, we are collecting the data ourselves, so we have to go and talk to people, observe people, okay, survey them. All right, C, advantages of primary data. Well, the data is recent because we just went out and got it. It is reliable, and it tells us exactly what we want to know. And what are the disadvantages of primary data? Well, if you think about it, if you were to conduct a survey every time that you wanted to find something out, it would take a lot of effort and it would take a lot of time. And therefore, it is very expensive. Okay, so hopefully you've got some jot notes for those 4 sections. So let's go on to the other type of data, secondary data. Okay, so we're here on letter E, secondary data. So the definition of secondary data, when information or results have already been collected by someone else, it is called secondary data. So we don't actually collect the data ourselves. So let's go to point F, how to collect secondary data. Well, secondary data comes from books, from encyclopedias, from newspapers, reports, and of course, in this day and age, websites. The advantages of secondary data. Well, it's less expensive and less work to do because someone else has collected the data for you. Sorry, that's an advantage of secondary data. And let's go to disadvantages of secondary data. Well, the data could be old. It could be unreliable. And it may not be exactly the information you were looking for. All right, so hopefully you've got some jot notes on the second section of secondary data. So let's work towards the bottom of the page. So the next section, examples of primary and secondary data. So I'm going to read you two different examples, and then what I want you to do is I want you to determine or decide whether it is primary or secondary data. Okay? So are you ready for the first example? Now again, I'm going to read it once, and if you need me to read it again, just rewind it back a few seconds. Okay? So we have example one. So your teacher asks you to personally collect data from your classmates about how many siblings they each have. The results from 15 students surveyed are 2, 0, 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 4, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2. So what do you think this is an example of? Primary data or secondary data? Please write your answer in the space provided right here. Now I'm going to read you the second example. You ready? Your teacher decides that instead of you collecting the data, he would simply read out the numbers from the school website. The results read out for 15 students are 2, 0, 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 4, 2, 2, 3, 3, 2. So what is this an example of? Primary or secondary data? Okay, so the last little question that I'd like you to complete from Google Classroom and hand it in electronically, let me read it to you. If I asked you to find the high temperature today for Tokyo, Vancouver, New Delhi, and Kuala Lumpur, how would you go about doing it? What type of data would you use, primary or secondary? And most importantly, why? Okay? So I just want you to answer this kind of in paragraph form, and then you'll hand it in to me in Google Classroom. Okay, so this concludes this video. Thanks for watching. Bye.